Hello and thanks for joining us on this Wednesday. I'm Jurnee Taylor and these are some of the headlines we're following now at noon. A Little Rock woman is in custody this afternoon in connection with an overnight homicide. The details in just 1 minute. Another set of documents marked classified has been discovered from President Biden's days as VP. Now there are growing calls for transparency from Washington. Award show season is moving right along. It's time to talk the Big SAG Awards. We will have the nominees at 12:12. But before we get into headlines, let's get into this weather with meteorologist Nathan Scott. Nathan, listen, my grandma would normally say, "Why don't you have on any stockings? It's too cold out here."
Good afternoon, Jurnee. Yesterday it was shorts and t-shirts weather. Today, back to reality. Time to get out the sweatshirts and hoodies once again, or sweatpants. And here's the reason why, because look at the 24-hour temperature difference. It's about 15 to 20 degrees cooler than this time yesterday in central Arkansas, 34 degrees cooler in Fayetteville, and they're actually seeing a temperature of 34 in Fayetteville. Deck of clouds overspreading the region. Temperature right now 51 in Little Rock, 46 in Hot Springs. These numbers will continue to drop as the day progresses along. So we'll be into the mid-40s probably by the mid-afternoon for many locations here in central Arkansas. And those winds, they are howling from the west-northwest, about 15 to as high as 30 miles per hour. Feels like numbers, it feels like the 20s in Fayetteville and Harrison, and it will feel like the 30s here in central Arkansas as the day progresses along. Still watching some showers showing up on the radar in northeast Arkansas and north Arkansas, where there will still be a chance of maybe a passing shower as the day continues. But for the rest of the afternoon, we'll see temperatures upper 40s for most locations. At 60 in Monticello, it's going to be dropping throughout the day. I'll let you know what to expect for tonight and your weekend forecast coming up.
We are working to learn more about an arrest Little Rock police made overnight, just a short time after responding to a homicide. Here's what we do know right now. Just after 9 p.m., officers showed up to an apartment on Breckenridge, that's near I-430 in Rodney Parham, and found a person dead in the parking lot. After an initial investigation, LRPD questioned, then arrested Chelsea McKinsley. She's being held on suspicion of first-degree murder, abuse of a corpse, and tampering with evidence. Meanwhile, in northwest Arkansas, state police believe they've recovered human remains in a wooded area near a busy intersection in Fayetteville. Police say a woman's dog found what was described as a jawbone with teeth Tuesday night. Due to it being dark in a heavily wooded area, officers had to wait until daylight to start their search.
You know, in this specific incident, if you look around the city of Fayetteville, a lot of people don't notice it just driving around, but there are heavy thickets within the city, and we have stumbled upon one here, so we utilize Washington County Sheriff's Office drone.
The remains are being sent to the medical examiner to confirm if they're from a person. Now to a story making national headlines. A Louisiana mother shoots and kills a home intruder. The sheriff's office reports that a 51-year-old man broke into a home armed with a shovel and a lug wrench. He got into a fight with the woman, then she shot him, killing the man. The chief sheriff's deputy warns criminals that things like this can happen to them under America's Second Amendment.
Criminals need to take in consideration that not everybody's going to be a victim. It's incumbent upon the homeowner or a person to use reasonable force to protect themselves.
The suspect was out on parole after serving 20 years for armed robbery. Detectives also linked him to a carjacking that happened just hours before that home invasion. Well, we have an update on a story we've been following. Damian Eccles of the West Memphis 3 has filed another appeal asking for a hearing on forensic testing. Eccles is asking the Arkansas Supreme Court to reverse a Crittenden County Circuit Court decision denying forensic testing for lack of jurisdiction. Attorneys for Eccles have been pushing to use new technology to test certain DNA evidence, which they said could, quote, establish his innocence and identify the real killer or killers. The appeal asks the Arkansas Supreme Court to order a full hearing on the request for new testing. And the man accused of murdering 4 University of Idaho students will be in court today. where he will be asked if he wants to waive his rights to a speedy trial. That could allow Brian Koberger more time to enter a plea for the charges against him. The search warrant for his apartment has been sealed temporarily, with the judge saying the details could prematurely end the investigation and create a threat to public safety. Well, another set of files marked classified from Joe Biden's tenure as vice president have been found. It comes just days after we learned of a first batch of roughly 10 classified files discovered at the Penn Biden Center just before the midterm elections. Now, earlier this week, President Biden said of the first set that was found that he was surprised to learn of the documents and that he didn't know what was in them. Jared Hill has more from New York.
CBS News has learned more documents marked classified from President Biden's time as vice president were found in at least one additional location than previously known. It's not clear when the additional documents were located, but the discovery was made after Mr. Biden's personal lawyers found the first batch of roughly 10 documents at the office of his former think tank in D.C. That happened on November 2nd. They turned the files over to the National Archives, who then informed the Department of Justice.
We are committed to doing the right thing, doing this in the right way.
A source familiar with the DOJ's review did not identify the additional location where those documents were found. The U.S. attorney charged with investigating the Biden documents is aware of this latest discovery.
This does increase the kind of political visibility. It does give another talking point to Republicans.
In fact, some Republicans have alleged a double standard compared to the ongoing probe into how former President Donald Trump handled presidential records. Last August, federal agents executed a search warrant at Mar-a-Lago, yielding more than 100 documents marked classified. They came after Trump, for months, refused requests to hand over the material.
Why did they treat President Trump totally different as DOJ? Why did they raid?
The Office of the Director of National Intelligence has already launched a damage assessment of the Trump documents. House Republicans have requested an assessment be conducted of the Biden materials as well. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
The Department of Veterans Affairs has proposed a new rule to waive the medical copay fees for Native American and Alaskan Native veterans for any visits to VA authorized primary care provider. And we'll learn more about that. The VA says the intent of the policy is to encourage veterans to seek primary care treatment and give them better access to health care. The proposed rule is going through a 30-day public comment period before it can be finalized. Well, you should know what that sound means. It's time to verify holiday cards, wedding invitations, or just paying bills. Millions of Americans buy stamps every year. Brandon Lewis from our Verify team answers your questions about whether it'll soon cost more to send mail.
The U.S. Postal Service processes more than 425 million pieces of mail a day, including some sent by Verify viewer Barbara. She texted our team to ask whether it'll cost more to send mail this year. So Barbara, let's verify. Are stamp prices going up in 2023? Our sources are the U.S. Postal Service and the Postal Regulatory Commission. The price of stamps is controlled by the Postal Regulatory Commission. Currently, it costs 60 cents to mail a standard 1-ounce letter. In October, the Postal Service announced it wanted to raise the price to 63 cents and increase the cost of sending postcards and some international mail to help offset inflation. The request was approved by the Commission in November and takes effect on January 22nd. So, yes, stamp prices are going up in 2023. This is the second increase in less than a year. Stamps went up 2 cents on July 10th, 2022. You could save some money by purchasing Forever stamps before the increase on January 22nd. Forever stamps will always be enough postage to mail a 1-ounce letter, regardless of how much you paid to buy them. Just remember to buy your stamps from an official stamp seller. Offers of big discounts are usually a scam, and you'll likely end up with counterfeit stamps. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Thank you, Brandon. Well, if you have something you want verified, you can email us at verify@thv11.com, or you can reach out on social media. But right now, a group of astronauts need a ride home to Earth from the International Space Station. At 12:12, we'll tell you how they got in this predicament. But first, let's definitely have a quick look at weather. The forecast. Nathan, tell us more.
Jurnee, a cold front has made its way through Arkansas, and now we're seeing that colder air pour its way in. It's going to be a much chillier afternoon here in the state. I'll let you know how cold it's going to get tonight and what you'd expect going into the weekend coming up.